I saw a gap tournament play, and I had been talking to Harry about nationals and stuff, and trying to make it out to nationals and try to, hang out and have some fun again. And then all this stuff, and yeah,
And for Denver Nationals, pretty much like last weekend it would have been, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So all this COVID stuff happened, and the community had with regionals and states, and now Euros is canceled, and we don't even know if Worlds is gonna make it. So
Hmm.
I really wanted to step up and try to provide the players with something to play in. I know Gimp is, but it's better than nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's you got to do what you can with what you have. So
Yeah,
it's
and I
definitely.
and
Go
I
ahead.
thought that this pod format would be a great opportunity um, to test the pod format out and
Hmm.
try to work out some bugs. Um, you know, uh, like getting it ready for Worlds just in case.
Hmm.
Right.
So, do you want to go over just like what you mean by pod format?
Yeah, so we did this back at the NPC in what 2020?
2010,
Yeah,
2011.
it was a while ago.
It was
Yeah.
before. It was pre-reset. Um,
Yeah.
and I know Maven was still around at that point.
Yep.
So I'm thinking it's like 2011, 2012.
2011,
Hmm.
2012 sounds about right for because I wasn't there for that one,
Yeah, I didn't go either.
but yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, so we ran it then for our Euro friends and players. It's basically the World Cup, and I guess if there's any soccer followers in the U.S., which
There
never
should
really
be.
is, there never is. But like it's basically we're gonna set up. You're gonna have hopefully eight pods.
Hmm.
If we get more than eight pods, it'll go up. It won't really shrink. Hopefully, we should have a minimum of eight, and then go up to 16 as large as I'll probably let it go. Which at 16 would be 132 players, I believe. So if we hit
Hopefully, it
that,
does get that slice. Yeah,
if we
Hmm.
hit that, then holy hell, I'll try to come up with something
it's
super
a good
insane.
problem to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and so each pod will have a set number of players. It'll be an even number, so that way we don't have buys really messing up because the format's going to be diff based, and if you get a buy with diff, it kind of hoses you a lot.
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
so the pods will be even number of players. You'll play basically a tournament of within that pod. So you'll have 4 games all against people in the same pod as you. And then we'll cut after that to a top 16, top 8, depending on top 32, I guess, if we hit 16 pods.
Okay.
Um, where they will take the top 2 from each pod. Um, Depending on numbers, we may have some wildcard spots. Um, and then that would be like the best third place finishers across all the pods,
Hmm.
and they'll play in match play format just like we do for every other Top Cup.
Okay.
And then once again, it's diff is the tiebreaker, not
Yes,
SOS, right?
it is diff. Play decks that can get large diff. Do
Retrieve
not,
some force.
do not play stuff like you know the old drop and drain decks that put 40 cards on the table.
Yeah, play your on
Hmm.
the edges and
Yeah,
all
you're
that good stuff.
you're going to need to get some large diff wins to probably get up there. There's going to be, a fair amount of good players,
Hmm.
playing. You can already see from the signups, there's already a bunch out there that are signed up
Yeah.
as well. So,
Yep, Dan and I are both signed up, so
Yes, we are. I'd like to see. I'm just gonna say this right now. I'd love to see you and me in the same pod.
yeah, that could be interesting. Yeah,
well,
And yeah,
so the
if
plan is in a couple weeks after signups are done, I would like to do the pod drawings on the show.
yeah, that would
okay,
be a good
yeah,
idea.
that'd be a fun one.
You could do a
Um,
special show if you want to move it to a different day or whatever
yeah,
works out.
Hmm.
whatever we need to do. But I would like to do it because I don't know if any again, and soccer players would recognize they do the draws for the World Cup,
Hmm.
and they seed all the teams based on their rank, and they draw from each pool of teams and make
Okay.
a pod or make.
I
a
guess
group.
similar to that in America might be like the March Madness thing when they kind of announce all the brackets and stuff. Like that's kind of a big deal, for
Like
some people.
you could see them where they rank like the 4 top seeds in the tournament, and then they all go to their own individual areas. Although March Madness does try to keep location relevant.
Yeah, that's true.
For the top 4
Maybe a
seeds.
little more like the NPC, but that's what I was going for.
And I'm gonna be taking into consideration any playtest teams, time zones, and things like that. Like I know Matthew Harrison Trainer signed up, and he's in New Zealand
nice.
right now, so he can only play at a couple time slots. He can't. 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time are about the only ones he can play in. The 6 p.m. would be like 3 a.m. for him or something.
Yeah.
So it'd be really rough. So those things are going to be taken into consideration. I'm going to try to do my best to make sure everybody gets what they can.
Okay.
Looking at the results from the questionnaire so far, it's pretty easy so far to be able to split it out the way it needs to for everybody.
That's good.
Nice.
So I don't foresee any problems with that at all.
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
So, for those who don't know, like the Texas Mini World was a big event back in the day. Could you tell us like some of the history about the event? So, for those who, like I said, are kind of new.
Yeah, so Texas Mini World started before I came back to play. Mike Richards kept it going. I stopped playing in 05, I think. 06 maybe was the last time I went out to an event because of some of the really dumb decks that were seen at the time. The old, hey look, turn 2 Ellis Jabba and a Beat Squad over, and oh look, overplay.
Yeah, there was a few crazy times in the early PC era for sure.
Yeah, so Mike Richards kept it going in Texas, and I think it was the year after the NPC started, Mike wanted to make a big event in Texas, and a lot of people don't realize that, for it to happen, he basically did it all on his own. He didn't rely on the PC for really anything. The PC wasn't even what it is today back then. And so he put up, his own money, his own stuff to get people out. And, we ran the event for, I think it was like 6-7 years before the PC kind of stepped up and had us rent out a hotel for everybody instead of the bar. But that was also because the bar closed. That bar was great, though. I mean, in case Jerry knows,
Yeah, I've been there, but I went to a bunch of Texas events. I remember the very first one that ever happened was the Texas NPC, right? The first one was run as an NPC format, and then it just,
like that.
it just turned into like a regular old Swiss, event after that. But yeah, I probably went to at least 3 or 4 of those for sure. I remember driving down to one with Jan Westergaard and Mark Vandriel, and let me tell you, you don't know what a road trip is like until you spend 2 days in a car with Mark Vandriel. So
that was the first one I came back to, was the one you guys drove down to.
Okay.
I don't even know who that is. So
Maven, you never? He was.
Yeah, Mark
he used to
Vandriel
be
was
the,
Maven.
he used to be the marketing advocate in the late in the pre-reset era.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he was kind of a crazy person, but he was great. He was a Colorado guy, but yeah, he got pulled over.
So he holds a special place in my heart because he would always play Senate with me.
There you go.
Wait. What did he play?
Senate,
and he loved playing Mind What You Have Learned.
Oh,
and,
okay.
He loved to play like crazy. Yeah.
The what was it? The invasion deck.
Yeah, the invasion battle droids, like that kind of stuff. He loved playing like EBO with like the crazy L-orthomatic drain underneath the shield stuff. Like he was a very inventive, quirky guy, and those who remember him definitely remember him fondly for weird reasons, for sure.
Yeah, I think that was the time when I was in Hawaii, so
that probably was for sure. Yeah,
that
makes sense timeline wise.
He left around like 2013, 2014. I think he left shortly before. No, he was after the reset. He left
just after. Yeah,
I remember he did some talking with the reset, but So, the history is quite long. We did a lot of experimental events at the Texas Mini Worlds. We did the day 2 pod format that one year.
Okay.
You were there for that one. That was the one Brian Fred won.
Okay.
That was the one where I reacted with the spiral and your Ozzel went off.
Oh, that's right. I have a signed Ozzel from that one still.
Yeah, I got my signed spiral. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got a long history. The last few years we haven't run it because we've kind of lost interest in playing a lot.
So, yeah, there was a pretty good Texas crew with like James Barnes, Mike Richards, like you said, Chris Fanchi, Nick Reich. Yeah, Fanchi hasn't played a long time, but he was there for the first few, Texas events. And
but yeah, so James and I no longer have our giant collections of cards. Mike still has his. And I just moved down to Houston. Of course, now we've got COVID, so I've been able to meet up with them. But, when I talked to Mike about it, Mike was like, yeah, we'll just get together and play board games. No need to play Star Wars.
Well, yeah, say hi to Mike next time you do end up seeing him for me, because I definitely have fond memories of sleeping on that guy's couch for a few Texas Mini Worlds.
Yeah, that's the one thing I've always heard about Texas was people slept on Mike Rich's couch, and I'm just like,
if you could get a good spot, otherwise you're wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you could talk to Andy Kimura on the GIMP, and he slept on the floor that one year that he came down because they stayed up till 4 a.m. and I think he and Steve went and crashed in the bedroom. He took the couch. I had brought a blow-up mattress and slept on that. And I think Andy ended up getting the floor outside the door. And I remember we got up in the early morning. I had to get up and go to the bathroom. I almost tripped over him sleeping on the floor.
Hey, Robbie, before we go any further, is there any way you could turn up your microphone?
Discord has some volume.
Yeah, maybe on your settings, but because we can hear you just fine, but I think maybe it's not going through the stream as loud as we want it to. But
yeah,
and you do sound a little quiet compared to Dan, but
well, that's also like I said I've got the COVID stuff going on and I'm actually all congested, so yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go tested tomorrow and not have a good time.
I think that sounds a little better.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was really fun for a lot of time just because we all hung out at Mike's house and or James's house after, and it was kind of we all just stayed in one room, so it wasn't like the hotel where everybody would go their separate ways. We were all stuck together all night for the most part. So we got to play more board games and just do more shenanigans than what you would do at a normal event. And then plus we played at a bar. So, they would deliver you food and drinks during the day while you play. You can't beat that.
No. Yeah, it was quite nice. It was quite nice.
You start out really poorly and you just get sloshed immediately and keep playing because
yeah, once you get to 0-3, you just start getting beers instead of iced teas.
Yeah. It definitely has a lot of fond memories, and I thought when I was doing this event that it might entice a few more people to kind of relive those memories and come and sign up again just to kind of support playing in this environment that we're now in.
The real question is, are you going to get a Texas-shaped trophy like Mike Richards always did? And are you going to put the right year on it? Because Mike Richards, I think, had at least 2 of them that didn't have the right year. Because it was a lot of times it was in January, and you would order the thing in November, and you'd get November 2013, when then the trophy would actually be awarded in 2014. I think he did it at least twice.
Yeah, those were the January events. He switched over to. We were in May and October, the last couple ones.
Okay, yeah.
Those came out right, but yeah, they. I think I am. Mike said that it was $70 to get the trophy, so that seemed fairly reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
But I am gonna wait to get it until after the winter, just because I want to have their name engraved on it, which means I will misspell their name because that seems to be a trend for people. So, yeah.
I was gonna say, with the year that the misspelling and the wrong date, who won those trophies? Do you guys remember?
I think Brian Fred might have gotten one of them, but I'm not sure.
I know
It's
Joe
at the
had his mug spelled wrong on. Joe Olson had his name spelled wrong on his mug one year. I think it was the PC donation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss.
Yeah, I was like, man, what a kind of kick in the balls on that one. So,
Right.
Joe Olson's a pretty. I guess maybe they did OLSEN instead of ON.
Yeah.
Everybody keeps putting an E in.
Yeah. Okay. I
Wait,
guess that.
Wait a second. It's not EN?
I'm
I've
fairly
always spelled it O in, so I guess I was just
fairly sure that it's ON. It's.
You know, I wouldn't know. I just spelled Joel Olson just like Joe O. Joe
It's
O.
just a rebel spy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just use his forum name. It's actually.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, we're definitely really pretty
Yeah.
excited for the Texas Mini World sort of revival.
Yes.
It's online. It's going to be on GEMP. It starts the 15th of August.
Yeah, I think
Is that
that's
correct?
Saturday. I think it's 15th and 16th.
15th and 16th is kind of the kickoff. The deadline to registrate is when?
The 9th, I think. Or 8th.
I was going to say, according to the forums, it closes on the 8th, so, and that's the Saturday beforehand.
Yeah.
So the
And
8th.
Yeah,
There's
the 8th
only
is-
28 people signed up. How many people did you want in this?
I would love to get over 100. I told Matt Carulli and Scott that I wanted it to be the biggest run PC event that we've ever had, which would mean, breaking, I think, 70 or 80 people, I think is the largest we've had.
Yeah.
All right.
So I would love for it to break that, and
So I'm pretty sure that the NPC that they did had 80. I think is what I
I
remember.
think that's the
Yeah.
pod.
Maybe someone
Yeah.
the pod NPC I think had 80. Maybe somewhere at least 80 registered. Maybe a few didn't show up or
Right.
something like that.
And,
Yeah.
and I know Worlds a couple of years ago had a bunch of people too. That's the one where Bastion won his first of the two back to back.
Yeah, the 2018 one had I think it was
know.
right at 70.
Yeah, I know Dagobah Worlds had, which is the Worlds in New Jersey, the last one for anybody that wasn't there, the hot, humid, sweaty room that Tom Hade won.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, that was so much fun.
It was.
We had 64 for that one.
Nice.
You know what? That was fun, but I mean, yeah, Worlds was not like the gameplay was fun and all, but you know what? The games afterwards were really fun.
Yeah, that Worlds was really fun, as well as we could make it in such a awful hotel.
Yeah, that
You
hotel
know,
was bad.
That was the Princeton Hotel, right?
Yeah.
The 2009 Worlds was there, and I was at that one. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
and
I do remember being in that hotel. I'm sure it only got worse in the decade or 7 years after that.
It was
That one was.
bad.
That was probably the worst event I've been to outside of I went to a Worlds up in Minnesota. That was not at a hotel, but at a cards. Yeah. Yeah, that one where everybody was crammed into that little card
City
store.
Comics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
I wasn't
was-
at that one, but
That
just
was
like
just-
2 weeks after that, it was when I first met Jan because he was driving across the country and he came and hung out with me for a while because he was looking for places to stay along the way.
And now you two are inseparable.
Yeah, it was destiny, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so that hotel was not good at all. But yeah, I would love for this event to hit 80, 90, 100 plus people. I mean, we have enough people around the world to do that, and I don't see any problem.
So yeah, it's $20 to register,
That's
and we want the registrations in by not this coming Saturday, but the next Saturday. So if you haven't registered yet and you're interested, Dan and I will be playing. You can get some easy wins off of me. I haven't played a game of cards in probably 2-3 months.
Let's see. I mean, outside of just between Jerry and I, you've got MHT, who we already said. Werfs is playing.
Yeah.
So
definitely
Werfs is
there.
always fun to play against.
Werfs is one of my favorite people in the community.
Yeah,
He's
easily.
fantastic. Yeah, top 10 for sure.
And then you got Brian Fred, who again is one of the best people in the community. Unless he puts 4 pictures on Facebook and he's trying to tell you what's the difference is, and he just trolls everybody. Those who know what I'm talking about know.
I don't
Pretty
know
good.
what you're talking about.
Matt Sperling.
I thought he looked like a gremlin. I ain't gonna lie.
I was gonna say Matt Sperling, who just made the transition from Magic to Star Wars, signed up.
Yeah.
More
He'll
on
be
him later.
Yeah.
Matt Sperling, for those that don't know, is a really highly ranked Magic player. He's won a couple of team Grand Prix, I believe, or at least won one team Grand Prix. He won it with David Williams, and I forget the other person because David Williams was a local Texas guy that played Magic way back when.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then other names, Casey Anus. He's playing. Spidey guy. He's playing. He's our he's one he's part of the marketing team. He's also made a couple top 8 at Worlds. Scott Lingrell, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. That's all you need. And we've got the two Jareds, Jared Konsker and Jared Napolitano, both have done really well online recently. Ryan Saracen, Connor Britton, both of them have made top 8s at events. Stubley.
Chris Kelly, our design advocate, signed up.
Let's not talk about Chris Kelly.
They
have a feud.
Me and Chris Kelly are the last and current reigning, I guess, still Texas team champions. So, yeah.
Nice. There you go.
So here's a question: can we do a Friday night team event?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll set up that in the.
I want to see that happen, and then what we could do.
I'll do a $5 entry fee.
Okay.
I'll figure out some way to get mugs to whoever wants.
Well, I'm not thinking. So we got to get something like Texas themed.
Well, like in years past, we did shot glasses, but what I did for hold on a second, I got it. I think over here. Hold on.
Okay.
There was one other kind of cool thing I wanted to talk to Robbie and just whatever about is that you get to pick 2 decks per side, right? In this event when you play. But
once he's back on with the headset and everything, we'll ask him.
All right. So this is what I got. Me and Chris. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it too well, but it's a glass.
There you go. Yeah, it's like a little.
It's like a whiskey. Oh, we just let Jerry. Jerry, you still there?
No, there he is.
Okay, he's coming back. So we'll have Jerry back in a second. But yeah, I like those. It's like a whiskey. It's a whiskey glass.
Yeah. So here, this will probably help. So you can see it a little bit.
That was weird.
That was weird. No, those are nice.
That's nice fancy. That's classy AF right there.
So yeah, me and that's the last one that we did. It was 2016, and that's the last time we ran Mini World. So
okay.
Yeah, me and that was part of me and Chris Kelly on our team run that we did with Nats, I think.
So was that so could you say that was the start of the Chris Kelly, him becoming a better player?
No, his actual one, I think he started at Nats, which was before Mini Worlds that year. Because I think Mini Worlds was in October, and I think Nats was in May, and that was the one in Pittsburgh, and that's the one that he beat Reed in the finals. We played the team event, and that was the only time I got to play. They flew me out to Pittsburgh to run the event. And so I only got to play in the team event, and this was before we were bringing commentators or anything. So we were testing the stream, so Chris Kelly was on stream all 4 games of the team event. I was playing next to him.
Serves him right.
Well, I had to keep an eye on the computer and everything, make sure that it was working, so I couldn't play on stream. And we ended up winning that team event. I went 4-0, and he went 3-1. He lost his first game on stream by, I think, 40. And yeah, it was so, team events are diff based, and I look over.
It's not a good start.
Yeah, I look over and he's scooping up his cards, and I was like, "What happened?" He's like, "I lost." He's like,
did we win?
And then he was like, "Oh, it's diff," and I was like, "Oh God."
Oh, it's diff.
You scooped, didn't you?
Oh,
in a diff event, and it was by 40 or something.
Oh God.
Yeah, we reeled off 7 straight wins. He won his next round by just as much as he lost the first round by. And I consistently won by the first 3 games, I think, were 25, 28, and 32.
Nice.
And
wow.
I think I had to play Kessling in the last round, and I only beat him by 12. So, yeah.
Well,
nice.
But that was the start of the Chris Kelly run, because the next day at Nats, he made it to top 8, and then the day 2, he tore through everybody. I mean, he beat
Yeah.
Lenny on the first round by so bad in the first game that Lenny scooped and didn't play the second game. And then I forget who he played Shaw, I think, in the second round and beat Shaw, and then he beat Reed in the finals.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. I wasn't there, but I mean, I
Yeah, why
worked a
weren't you?
lot behind the scenes.
That's your
But
hometown.
yeah, the hotel was my sister's old hotel, so she worked there. Hence why we got that hotel.
Ah,
Mm.
Yeah.
You got the Tartaglione family discount, right?
yeah.
Well,
And also, you can see in the Twitch chat, Taco Bill, I am assuming, is talking bad about our team victory in 2016 Texas Mini World Team Champs.
Yeah,
So,
he's from Basel.
yeah, that
yeah,
is from Belgium.
That's Taco Bell.
But
he likes to blame Greg, but Greg was the one that beat me.
Yeah,
And
he likes to blame Greg.
Taco
Greg
Bill
likes to
lost.
blame him.
Well,
you know
Bill
what?
lost
It's fair.
Chris Kelly. Greg Shaw beat me that weekend. I was playing Light Senate with a space
Of
package.
course
That
you
was
were.
pretty cool. Yeah. And at one point, Chris looks over and sees in my Senate, Greg has Boba Fett Bounty Hunter, whose maintenance is canceled in the Senate, carrying as a captive Queen Amidala, I think, or Mon Mothma. And then
What?
Jodo Cast is carrying or some other characters
There's
got
some all wrapped up shenanigans going on here.
hidden weapons.
Oh,
And,
hidden weapons. Okay.
and so he had Palpatine and I think Mothma captured in the Senate, with one with Fett who didn't have maintenance anymore because it was canceled.
That's
Uh,
fun.
yeah, and he looks over, sees that, and I think Greg beats me by like 15, maybe. Like he didn't beat me that bad when all things are considered. How
True. Yeah.
oh look, all my senators are captured. Awesome. So
Nice. Well, apparently, if we have a team event for Texas Mini Worlds, Chris Kelly has called dibs on you.
yeah, I saw that. I don't know if you'd want me, but yeah, I mean, if he wants to be on my team, sure, I'll play with him.
Fair enough. There was one other thing I wanted to get into about Texas Mini Worlds was the fact that you get to pick 2 decks per side, right? You submit
Yeah.
2 lists for each, so you 2 light decks, 2 dark decks, and then you have to just decide when you load up. Is that essentially how it's going to work? Just maybe go through that, how that came to be.
So, this was kind of back when we were talking about the NPC and having to transition it to online. There were some really cool, I think, ideas for how to try to manage online play a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was the submitting multiple decks, and I think we kind of knocked it down to a few of them. And I was thinking for this, since I'm running the pods, you're only going to have 4 games, 2 with each side. Let's submit 2 decks per side. That way you can
Okay.
switch, and if you want to, or you can play the same one, but it gives you an option, based on who you're playing and what you.
So then will you have knowledge of everyone in your pod, what their 2 deck lists per each side are ahead? Okay, so you won't.
Okay.
No, yeah, I'm not going to submit the deck list. I'm not going to post them or anything like that until
Okay.
after the event.
But then, obviously the grapevine and people, people
Yeah,
can observe and all that stuff.
We play in live events all the time, and scouting happens there. If you ever get to talk to Matt Sperling, he can tell you about how scouting works in Magic. I mean, it's when you go to pro tours, it's a big deal. Like teams will have people come with them just to help scout and keep track of decks that people are playing. Because
Wow.
when you're playing in a big event like that for $40,000, I mean,
It's fair.
It's
Yeah.
when you sit down round 14 against somebody, you should know what they're playing.
Yeah.
Your tournament's on the line. You're making a lot of money. That's almost a yearly salary for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then
That's a fair point.
So,
once the cut to the top, whatever, is it going to be just new deck lists or the same lists, or you have to just pick one, or have you figured out that scenario yet?
So one thing back on what you were talking about before, you will pick a deck right before you load up. That's when you have to choose the deck. So whoever sets up the table will pick theirs first, obviously, and then
Okay.
whoever joins in will pick theirs when they join, and that's when you actually choose your deck. You don't have to choose them ahead of time and say you're gonna play this one game 1 and this one game 3 or whatever.
Okay.
You're gonna pick them as you load in.
So you can play the same deck 4 times, but you
No.
can play, or you could go.
You can't play the same deck 4 times. You can play the same deck twice. It's still.
Or you know what I meant.
Yeah.
You know what I meant.
We didn't know what you meant.
There is a light and dark side still that you have to be assigned.
Yeah,
So,
sorry. You can play the same deck for all your games if you want to in your pod, but you could also play one with each.
Mm-hmm.
You can
Okay.
play all your
There we
games
go.
on the same side with the same deck, yes.
Cool.
But yeah, so the top cut, you will submit your decks right before you play your first game.
Okay.
Both players will need to submit the decks before they play that game. They will
It'll be just
schedule
like
it,
a normal top thing where you can pick a different deck, but once you pick that deck, that's your deck.
and you have to submit both decks, not just the one you're going to play that night. You have to
Right.
submit both of them before you play your first game.
Okay.
And then, and the reason I'm doing that is because I wanted people to be able to schedule it rather than having to do multiple consecutive weekends. I thought that was one of the downsides to the NPC was if you made the top cut, you had to reserve a second weekend to play in it as well.
Yeah.
So I wanted to give people the ability to switch up and play whenever they can. Plus, that allows commentators to kind of cover more games, which is always a good thing for our community as well.
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
And plus, the next weekend, I might be out of town if COVID is not so ridiculously awful.
That's fair.
So I wouldn't be able to do the consecutive events, and I don't want to pawn that work off on somebody else because it's going to be a lot of work managing this event. So you'll submit your decks. Like, players will have, I think it said a week, 10 days, something like that. I forget what I said. It's in the rules. So, because I remember I sat there and going back and forth between like a week, 10 days, and 2 weeks, trying to come up with the right time.
Right.
To schedule 2 games. And
Should be, reasonable.
And so then you'll pick your decks. Like, if you say you're gonna play, like, let's say you and Dan make the top cut, and y'all are gonna play in the top 16, and you say we're gonna play.
How high are you?
I have drug testing at work, so not at all. I may be a little delirious from COVID, but I'm not high. So let's say you guys make it, you're gonna play Thursday. So before y'all play Thursday at whatever time you guys decide, you have to submit your decks. You can submit them Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, whatever, as long as it's done Thursday before you guys play your first game.
Okay. That makes sense.
And then that way you'll submit both of them. You'll play both of them. You won't get to switch decks after your first game. You have to play what you submit.
Okay.
Like any other match play at any event, you're going to
Right.
sit down with both your decks. You can't swap decks after you got crushed game 1 because you need to win by more in game 2. So
Cool.
what you sit down with is what you have to play. But then after that round, if you advance, you get to switch decks for the next round if you want, or you can keep them the same. And you just have to submit it again before you play your first game of that round.
Okay, nice.
So
Yeah,
we don't have to worry about scouting, really. You can always switch decks.
Nice, yeah. 'Cause I mean, we have the rules post that you have or whatever. But it's always good just to get, to talk about it and be like, oh, this is how it's going to go, and this is so that way, we can ask you all these crazy, well, what if this, what if that questions. So,
Well,
I mean, it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, Dan and I are both signed up. About 30 people have signed up so far. So I'd like to see at least double to that. So if you're looking to get involved, it's $20, and you can do that through the PC store. I did it just a couple days ago, and yeah, I encourage you guys to play, and it should be pretty cool. I'm definitely looking forward to. I like being able to submit 2 decks because it gives you the flexibility. Like if your first deck that you chose is an absolute dud for whatever reason, you can switch to something else and not feel like you just have to play. It's like, we've all been to a tournament where you brought a bad deck. You're like, oh shoot, I have to play 3 more games with this thing, and that's never fun. I like that. That's so flexible.
Yeah, and one of the other things I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure everybody gets something cool in prizes.
Nice.
So I'm working with Matt Caruli on the our technology advocate to try to do something cool on GIMP, but we might end up just doing a large amount of gold or something to let people get what they want.
Okay.
I'm not
Get
sure.
the foils and what have you.
Yeah, so they can get foils because I know Batmouse is wanting to run his foils thing, and that's a fun event too. And every little bit we do on GIMP and these cool, unique events just helps make our
Mhm.
community so much better.
Yeah, it would be kind of cool if we had like Gemp was something, in similar to a way like Hearthstone or Magic the Gathering online, where you have like an online collection that's sort of
Right.
like, that you
Mhm.
can, okay, now I've accrued enough where I can buy this card that I really wanted, and make it a little more, bring that collectible card game element back
Right.
back to it in some aspect, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm gonna see about trying to do some foil slips. See what I can do about passing
Okay.
some of those out. There should
Poker
be
chips, or all sorts of
Yeah,
they have
Well,
lots of things.
hey,
Whatever.
Robbie,
Yeah.
you know what you should do? You
Huh.
should talk to the lead marketing person.
Well, I sent it to the former lead marketing person last time because I know Kevin has. Well, not Kevin wasn't the former lead, but I sent it to him with Menzel because I know they had some stuff maybe in reserve. Or do you have it all now?
Talk to me.
All right. So I'm also
What he's
like I
doing
said,
right now.
Yeah.
I want to try to get foil slips made. My idea, and I don't. This hasn't been approved. I would like to do it, and hopefully this will draw them up some interest and maybe get them to let me do it. Always better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So I would like to give out the foil legend objective with the cards that it starts on the table. So the foil planet location, and then I think that's all it starts, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it starts so it starts a random
Oh, that's right.
location
Use
and back to the system itself.
Right, so you'll get the foil objective, the foil planet, and then the sites will be foil as well, so you can
Okay.
pick and choose which sites you run. And
Wow.
then that will be given out to a random person that is either playing in the event, helping me run the event, whether commentary
Mhm.
or any other volunteering that I need, or anybody that's subscribed to our Twitch channel. You have
Nice.
three
Interesting.
different ways to get an entry, and each way that you do something will get you an extra entry into the drawing.
Okay, so if you're
Okay,
also
I
subscribed
like that.
and you're registered in the tournament, you'll get 2 entries.
So
Nice.
that'll be one, and then I was going to do a foil dark side objective with the cards that it starts on the table, because we have foil objectives, but they don't always come with the cards if they start on the table with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe there's already an IE one out there, and I believe there's already a map one out there.
Yes, the map is a subscriber reward.
Right.
I know that much.
Subscriber
I
one.
think went to Karuli, maybe. I think it was his design advocate award or something. I think we gave out one, or maybe he got
Mhm.
Diplo, and IE doesn't have one.
Yeah, I think he has Diplo, because I think wasn't he the one who designed Diplo?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I know he designed Diplo, so I know he has that one. I thought he might have gotten IE too, but
So the only other virtual dark side objectives are like stunning move
And
and Robs.
so I was gonna do a stunning move. I know it's not a highly played deck, but it does start a lot of cool stuff on the table. So you'll get the
Yeah.
foil and the starting sites foil, and then
And set 13 might have some stuff for stunning move
Right.
also.
I have no idea
Hopefully.
because I'm not on the playing system. So, but
I am.
you'll also get the foil Insidious Prisoner as well.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a cool one.
I
So,
think that one's already foiled though. I think it's part of the league kit.
yeah. Well, you'll get a different.
Whatever,
I mean,
you
you'll
know.
still
Yeah.
get it. 'Cause
At least
it's
you'll get it.
it out with
Yeah.
the with it. So that would be. Oh, Chris Kelly is saying that we could always make one of them the map one whiteboarded.
Yes, so that's actually something that the marketing team is working on, is starting to bring back some of the whiteboarder cards. I know Justin Desai brought it up last week with the Galen old version of it. He said we're actually looking at doing some of those. So
Yeah, I think
but
I actually have a foil whiteboarded card somewhere.
I wish I had one. I don't.
Well, me and Kessling used to fight over whiteboarded cards, so
Yeah, I'm a big fan of
Nice.
whiteboarder as well.
Yeah.
So
I love playing with whiteboarded cards.
You know who you guys got to talk to for whiteboarded cards?
who's that?
Brian Fred.
Yeah, he's
Well,
a
I
big
don't
whiteboarder
have-
guy as well.
I don't have any more cards, so yeah.
And I don't want to talk to Brian Fred. Nah, I'm just
What?
kidding. I'm just kidding.
What?
I'm
Jerry.
I love B Fred. He knows I love him.
Uh-huh.
Everyone
But
knows
yeah,
I love
so
me some B Fred.
I would like to give out those at random. Hopefully, I can get a unique foil slip, either foil AI slip or something for the top cut, and then print out a little extra couple of them to give away at random as well. I'm really trying to spread the prizes out to more people rather than all at the top. The top is going to get cash, so let's
That's
not
fair.
worry too much about them, and let's try to spread out so that way more people that sign up, can get stuff, whether it's through GIMP or
Okay.
foil slips or something like that, which we do have multiple players that trade highly for. We've spoken of all three of them tonight that I know of too. Chris Kelly, Brian Fred, Tom Hayes.
Tom Hayes signed up?
No, he's not signed up, but he's a highly collector of foil V slips, and we did talk about him.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we did talk about him winning Worlds back in 2018.
Dagobah Worlds.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, I'm starting to. Chris Kelly and I are actually talking about wheeling and dealing cards for foils, so I'm getting up there now with foils.
Well, I give every single one that I get prize wise goes to either Chris or Brian Fred or Tom Hayes. I always give out the foils slips to them.
Well, now you have a new person, Robbie. Speaking of prizes and stuff, you know what? I'm just gonna say this. I got a fridge back here.
Oh,
You familiar,
wow.
Robbie?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I made that for you for the Christmas exchange. I forgot about that. I made that one and a couple more. I still have the one I kept upstairs. It's packed.
Oh, man. The good old Christmas exchange.
Yeah.
And then there's the other
Oh
one.
yeah, the BB-8. There you go. There's that. Well, that one I didn't make. That one came at the store that I was at when I made the other one. But I made the R2 and I made a Ray as well. And the Ray.
Oh, nice.
The Ray took. Oh my God! It took me probably.
I can imagine.
That process is such a pain in the ass. But like once you get it done, it looks fantastic, and you're like, wow, that's really cool. I did something really cool, and I regret spending 5 hours doing it. But,
So, on another topic, so we were talking about prizes. So I know the marketing team. We're going to be posting information on the forums to ask people what they would like to see for prizes. So I'm actually going to be doing this probably tonight, posting it on. So if you're watching, please go ahead and post on to that topic about like what kind of prizes you would like to see at events. There is one stipulation. I know people are probably going to ask, but unfortunately, the PC is not looking to present designing V-cards as a prize at events right now, just because there is a surplus of V-card designs that they're working on. So that unfortunately will not be a prize that we can talk to or we can hand out for events, but we are looking at getting some other prizes, looking at like t-shirts, and
we could do playmats. I would
playmats.
Think would be
So
cool.
Playmats, we're actually talking about doing our mouse, like a little bit, probably like mouse pad size, just so you can put the decks on.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that way, yeah. So you still have something, kind of nice for your decks.
Yeah, each Star Wars game is different in the way that it
Yeah.
spreads out and stuff. So having a whole playmat would end up being quite large if you wanted to have it. So it makes more sense having a smaller one.
I will say this: I'm probably going to get a larger one just for myself for events. So,
Right?
I mean,
might as well.
that is one thing I do like about when we go play at events. We have nice tablecloths usually to play on now. We play at hotels. We don't play in card stores or anything.
Yeah.
So you don't really have to have the playmat like you do at Magic, where you go and there's just garbage.
Yeah, you're just playing on a crappy folded up card table or whatever.
So
yeah.
But yeah, I'm really trying to ramp up and come up with some unique prizes for the event, and maybe the marketing team could steal some of them and put them out there for other events. So,
if you guys are prevalent in the Slack chat, Bill just posted this really great meme. I suggest everybody go check it out right now, especially Chris Kelly. So, so everybody's looking forward to this new event because you know what? I want to play more Star Wars. I've been playing Star Wars. I don't know. Like I'm playing in I'm playing in the OCS this month. I'm playing in there's the North California guys. They run a league. I'm playing in their leagues. But I'm definitely looking forward to this Texas Mini World event. I want to say I was like one of the first people to sign up for it.
Yeah,
I'm glad Jerry signed up because, like I said, I would love to be in his pod.
Yeah, free wins all
I'm
day.
not saying about the free wins. I'm saying more along the lines of we
Good
had this
content.
little like agreement going that in the OCS, if whoever did better was going to make the other one wear a jersey. I mean, I'm blowing you out of the water with that one. So I want to.
Yeah.
We should
Is
do
there
this.
an OCS in August, or does it end this month?
And there is an OCS in August.
Okay, right. So I got one more
Yeah,
month
you
to
got one more.
redeem myself, but
But
maybe I'll just go 12-0 and just win a month.
that's fine. But at the same time, I've got my games in. I'm 5-4 this month.
Yeah, I'm undefeated. So
Touche.
He's also
but
winless.
yeah. So yeah. So I think we should move on now into our normal segment, swing and a miss. It's a hit. We got a few good questions and to go over.
all right.
Here we go. So I think we're going to start off with the first one. This one's actually prevalent because he's playing right now. Brian Fred is currently undefeated this month in the OCS at 9-0. Will he continue to go to win and make it to 12-0 this month? Now, like I said, he's playing right now. It's his Agents of the Black Sun versus a No Idea.
Where's Yoshi? Sam.
Versus Yoshi, Sam Tashimi. So,
well, I mean,
and I will say this though, he did qualify already for the OCS playoffs. He's just trying to get a higher seed. So
Gotcha.
he
I mean,
does
he's
he
also-
does want to go 12-0. I've talked to him about it.
No, he likes. I mean, it's Brian Fred. He wants to win every game he sits down, but he also wants to have fun. So
Yeah.
I fully expect him to try his best to go to 12-0. That matchup he's in is a rough matchup.
Yeah.
And Sam
Yeah.
is a pretty good player.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't think if he wins tonight, I mean, I don't give him good odds to beat that matchup right now.
going to 10-0 would be pretty good. And, I mean, B. Fred's a better player than Sam. All due respect to Sam. But, I mean, like I said, that matchup's not great, and it looks, sort of even right now. But,
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
So-
if anybody can go undefeated, it's Brian Fred.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian Fred's a amazing player.
Yeah. Looking at the board set, you guys said it. It's not. It's going to be rough for him. The one nice thing is, he's got the.
The one nice thing, silence.
I was going to say he's got the system pretty, or the Coruscant system pretty good, but at the same time, he's already
Sam's coming at the system right now, though.
Yeah,
so.
Sam's coming at the system right now. U3PO, his cover was broken, so he's not doing anything now. I mean, it's a tough matchup, but yeah, Brian Fred knows what he's doing. I just don't like his chances right now. It's going to be close. I mean,
when we were prepping for the NPC, that was something that I put Connor on. Was No Idea when I had to play him because Connor's played that at most of the majors, I think, already.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Brian Fred was telling me, a decent game plan with agents, and then I had a mediocre draw. I wouldn't say bad draw, but it was mediocre, and then I really punted one turn, and it just went downhill from there. But Brian Fred knows that matchup. He knows what he needs to do. It's just that's a very rough matchup. So.
yeah.
That's fair.
I
give. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I will say this one thing. If Brian was playing the version that starts Quiet Mining Colony and using like Erica in it,
I mean, quite a mercenary.
or quiet, no,
You said
quietly
quiet mining.
observing. Quietly
Oh, yeah, that's
observing.
Quiet
Quietly
mining
observing.
colony.
We both got it wrong, but you were more wrong because that's a light side objective.
Yeah, I was
said
like, Brian
quietly
Fred's
observing.
playing agents.
No,
with,
you said quiet mining colony. Go back and
No,
watch.
I didn't.
You said quiet mining colony. Rob, Twitch chat. Can you confirm?
You guys are both high. Yeah,
One
if
of
he's
us-
playing that version where he could play like Erica as a second spy, I would like that better because it runs never Yarnall, and Never Yarnall's really good against No Idea. That being said, yeah, I think right now Sam's in the driver's seat, and
Can't No Idea cancel it because it targets defense.
No,
Or no, it's
it doesn't.
So yeah, I mean it's not a fantastic matchup. I think I ran Erica in the interrupt in mine
Mm-hmm.
with without that thing, but it's still not a fantastic matchup
No.
whatsoever. So
No.
All
Okay,
right, so my first one now. Is that where we're at?
Yeah, I think we're on your first one.
Okay. We kind of alluded to this way earlier, but with all the stuff going on, do we think Worlds will be in person this year? Is that it's a hit or a swing and a miss?
Robbie,
I wanted to hit, but I mean, Texas is literally on the cusp of falling apart and locking down again. If we have to lock down through all of September to catch back up, or August to September, I don't know how much is really going to be opened up by October. And to be fair, even if we get to the point in this country that we can open up and run it, how many are going to come from overseas?
that's a good
And-
point.
I mean,
and that's
I
where
didn't want to.
I
Go ahead.
start to draw the line, and I'm like, if we're playing in person, but the overseas players can't participate, is it Worlds or is
No.
it just North America Championships?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's I didn't want to rain all over this episode, but definitely just sort of seemed like we're having another online major and we have Worlds scheduled for October, but like
Yeah.
it being almost August, like and how many people are going to feel comfortable, like and we would maybe have to get a bigger space to socially
Well-
distance. I certainly I want there to be a real person. The things that I love to do are like going to Star Wars events and going to hockey games and going to rock concerts and stuff. And it's like all those things are like I have no idea when they're gonna happen again. And it's
So-
sad and depressing, but it also is sort of what we have to talk about.
So here's my next question to you. What if Worlds for this year, for 2020, is pushed back to next year?
Like January or February or something.
I mean, there's no guarantee that even in January
Yeah.
it can be back to normal either.
Right.
There's so much unknown right now with what's going on, and it's hard to make plans with that much unknown. I mean, on one hand, we look at it as in October, it's already August and we're maybe having to shut back down, but October is still 3 months away, or 2.5 because it's at the end of October.
Yeah.
So that's still a decent amount of time to maybe get things turned around. But the longer we delay and get things turned around, the worse it's going to be. And
Right.
the biggest fear is what happens if we have COVID plus the flu season hit at the same time?
So I haven't really thought about that.
Like,
Yeah.
this is all going to be taking things into consideration. There's going to be people like Emil and Bastion that may not want to fly over, and I think it'd be a shame for Bastion not to get a chance to repeat and defend his title. So, one of those things, like, if we have to run Worlds online, I know people are saying it's not really Worlds, but the same was said in 2001 when Decipher canceled Decon and we went to Freedom Con. They canceled.
Right, or we did the NPC already, so like that.
Well, I mean, the NPC is a different beast because at least with the NPC, you know who you're supposed to play.
Right.
So
Understood.
it makes it a little easier. Whereas Worlds, because it's so...
Oh no, it's entirely different. Don't get me wrong; it's not the same. But we had to switch from Decipher running it to the Players Committee. I mean, that's new judges, new people running events, new a lot of things. And there were people in 2001 that said that wasn't Worlds, and there were people that claimed Bastion didn't win his first title, which is hogwash. I mean, he beat an incredible top 8 to get his title. He deserves his title.
Right.
I have no doubt that online Worlds, while different, would still be just as challenging to a lot of people. And I still think it's Star Wars. It's still fun games. It's just not the same. So what are we going to really do? It's all about keeping us safe and still being able to play the game and be a community, in my opinion.
You know what?
Right.
I'm going to say this. The Advocates have a big task on their hand just because, one, of Worlds, and two, of the NPC that we have scheduled now in January. So, you know what? I'm waiting to see. It's not... All I know is I gotta market whatever events they have pushing out. So that's all fine and dandy for me.
Oh yeah, I don't envy the Advocates at all, but I trust that Scott and Schoenthal and Caruli and Chris Kelly and Keith and
don't forget Tim.
Oh yeah, Tim. I was like,
Yeah.
I knew the rules one, but we don't have a marketing one. We just have
We
Dan.
don't have a marketing one anymore.
But I put a
Yeah.
lot of faith that those guys will make the right decision
Right here.
and keep our safety in mind.
Yeah. So moving on, we got number 2. In Texas Mini Worlds, ISB and Throne Room will dominate the meta.
I don't know about ISB. I think Darkside is kind of a little bit more balanced. Throne Room on Light. I mean, we have Throne Room no idea for Light for the most part. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna. When you say dominate, do you mean just be a majority of the field, or do you think they're gonna be top decks?
Top decks.
No, I don't think they'll be the top.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure because I haven't really been playing much lately, but Throne Room is historically really good. I've always been a Throne Room player, and I've been seeing it when I do check in on stuff. It's not like I'm completely out of the loop. ISB seems pretty top swinging deck right now, but it's also for me just always been sort of a boring deck to play. So it depends on if you want to bring something like that to the tournament or not. But
the event is diff based too,
and that's the best point. ISB can win games, but it's not going to win games by a lot. Same with
because it can retrieve. It does
just retrieve some ISB,
but it's not a lot of retrieval. But it's better.
Puts a lot of cards out on the table.
That's the issue. It puts a lot of cards on the table. So I mean, don't get me wrong. Like Diplo is a great deck, but you're going to put a lot of cards on the table. Same with IE. It's a good deck, but you're going to put a lot of cards on the table. That's why I think like a deck like Throne Room, or we might see like Hunt Down. I think those are the 2 best decks. I mean, No Idea is a great deck, but you put a lot of cards on the table.
Prophet can get some big 30+ wins.
Prophet has the potential, I think.
I also think Legend is underrated, and I think.
Well, another one that's really hard to play. Like I've been avoiding it just because I didn't want to like play the 40 games necessary to really figure it out.
I watched a few games on GIMP the other day, or the last couple of weeks, and I've been really impressed with Legend as an objective. It has some decent retrieval mechanics and stuff built into it as well.
Yeah.
And I think it will do pretty well. And I think people are starting to figure out how to beat Throne Room. And so while I think Throne Room may be highly represented, I don't know if it will dominate the meta as it has at other events.
I agree. Like Legend, people have called it the best objective that the PC has ever made. And I think that's a little bit of an understatement. I mean,
think it's the best objective post reset.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
I remember the.
I was going to say Slavers.
Love and Slavers and ATRTs. And
I was going to say Watch Your Step V.
Watch Your Step V.
The original Watch Your Step V was insane.
Yeah, the old Walker.
Chris Kelly, when are we going to get a Watch Your Step V?
We already have it. It's called Old Allies.
Yeah.
You know what? Old Allies.
Watch Your Step V and Old Allies are very similar. They start the Falcon on the table. They pull their own sites. Like those decks are very similar.
That's very fair. Okay, so moving on. You got another question, Jerry?
I got one more left. I was gonna have 3, but I cut one of them because it was bad. No, it's a bad one. I already deleted it. Anyway, this one is a good one because we were sort of just talking about this. So, with Texas Mini Worlds online being the last major in the set 12, we'll call it, the tweak set meta. Will we see any like fresh new platforms or builds that we haven't really seen yet? In this Texas Mini Worlds event. I'm hoping that we will, but I'm just not. This meta seems like it's pretty well figured out, or at least close to it. So I was wondering if you think we'll see 1 or 2 new decks, new themes, stuff that has been played. Any Watch Your Step stuff, or some crazy invasion or destroyer droids. Do you think there's anything that hasn't been figured out yet that maybe we might get a chance to see it, with this being sort of the last hurrah for this meta?
However
you want to word that into
okay.
it's a hit, swing and a miss.
I do.
Okay.
I think there will be.
I hope so. I just
I mean,
wonder, if,
so-
like I said, if
I
anybody's
have a
got
legit
balls.
reason for why I think that.
But you don't want to reveal it because you're talking to.
I'm curious now.
I just know I've heard some people that are possibly going to come and play in the event that haven't played in a while.
Okay.
And so when you bring people that haven't played in a while back in, they have a fresh set of eyes on things that aren't bored with deck
Different
design.
perspectives.
Yeah, they'll bring a different perspective and different feel for the game back, and I think that will change. Like, it's not going to be anything super groundbreaking. Like, they're not going to come out with, they're not going to bring back like Mind What You Have Learned and make it good or something. I'm betting.
I already saw a little bit of that.
Everybody knows Mind What You Have Learned, thanks to Scott.
Yeah. But like I think there will be some fresh set of eyes on the current meta, and I don't think we solve our metas like Magic solves theirs. So I think new ideas, new things are always out there. New eyes on it is always going to bring that innovation back into it. And some of the people that are rumored to come back are highly innovative. So it'll be
all right
to see if they can come up with anything.
You want to give us a hint onto who you're rumoring?
No.
I don't want to set up any rumors and then not have them do it. Like, I don't want to let anybody down.
Okay,
I don't want to put pressure, and I don't want to put pressure on these people to sign up and play, because I don't want to pressure anybody to sign up and play.
That's a good point.
I mean,
fair.
I've messaged a lot of people to try to get them to come and sign up and play.
Good.
But I hope none of them feel like I'm trying to pressure them into playing. I just want everybody to play, and I want everybody to see. Like, some people haven't been on the forums in a while; they may not see it. So I just want to reach out and say, "Hey, look, this event's happening. If you want to sign up, please sign up. There's 2 different days you can play on. It'll take at most 6 hours to play. Just sign up and play. So if you can, but like if you've got real life going on, don't worry about it. It's cool."
Yeah. Nice.
So here's a question: did you talk to Reed Smith?
Did I? No.
Yeah. Okay.
Reed probably doesn't want to talk to me too much.
Joke. Yeah.
Oh.
Reed isn't Reed's an active player.
Reed's an in-person player. He's not a GEP player. I will say this. Actually,
I hope he does play. Like,
I would love to see him play.
I think Reed is one of the top players to play the game. I would love to see him come in and play. I think he adds a little bit more legitimacy to the games being played online when he does. He's very innovative. He's very skilled at playing. I would love to have him play. Me and Reed we kind of butt heads, so I don't really want to.
You're not the only one.
Well, and it's nothing bad against Reed.
No,
it's just our personalities conflict, and that's just how it is. But I also figured, since I was talking to Matt Carulli when I was setting this event up, that Pittsburgh was mostly covered as far as being aware of the event.
Yeah.
If they're not, then I apologize to them. I would have reached out.
Yeah. Oh no. Pittsburgh. So I will say this: Pittsburgh is aware of it. I don't think they're going to play just because of things that are going on in their lives. So I might be the only Pittsburgh player, even though I'm in California.
And I get it. It's one of those things. Like, there's a lot going on in the world right now. Everybody's got stuff coming up. I wanted to do the weekend of the 23rd, but that's the weekend I may have planned, so I couldn't do that.
That's fair.
And Carulli didn't really want to push this in September and kind of conflict with the OCS as much. So this was kind of the furthest weekend we could go back, and I posted as quickly as I could that this event was running. So
nice.
Okay. But yeah, I will say this though, Robbie. I know one person who's coming back into the game who's really innovated, and I'm expecting a lot of good things from. If he plays, I expect he's going to be one of the top players by far. I'm not going to mention who, but I will say this: he was on Holotheatre at some point this year.
Okay.
All right.
So I think that's all we got for Swing and a Miss. It's a hit. We'll move on to our next topic. With Jerry being back, we're going to go back into card of the week. Him and I both picked the cards, so we're going to talk about them. Let Robbie chime in and see what he has to say about the cards. And we'll continue on with the show because we got a little bit more to go on today.
Yeah.
So
You
show,
want me to go first?
yeah, we're always going with you first because you are the star, Jerry.
Okay, whatever you say. So my card is Crush the Rebellion for the dark side. Um, if you're tired of the light side using Clash of Sabers on all your people, you could really just start this card and then you would never have to worry about it ever again. Obviously, I know some decks don't have a starting effect slot to waste on it or whatever, but you also get to like pull game ending card like Monarch and just win like some random games you have no business winning because you just Monarch them. I know people have their feelings about Monarch, but obviously if I start this card, I'm going to run it. So, but yeah, just the ability to cancel Clash of the Sabers, pulling I Have You Now, pulling the Monarch, has some other stuff about Destiny draws or something. Who knows? Who cares? But those are why you play this card. I think it's good, and if you're tired of losing to Clash, find a way to get this card on the table. That's all. Because I see so many people bitching about Clash, and it's like, well, do something about it.
Do something about it. You know what? It's a good point, and I think you're 100% right on that one. It's a great card, especially for the fact that you can pull I Have You Now. You can pull the Monarch. You can pull a Vader Monarch.
Combo, yeah.
Yeah, and the big thing is Clash. And you can start it in a lot of your matchups. If you're going against a throne room, you play this because, you know your opponent's probably going to play Clash. So, yeah, it's a really solid, like, premium card.
If more people played this card, then Clash would go out of the meta.
Also,
and then you wouldn't have to worry about Clash.
I don't think so.
Pulling I Have You Now is pretty good against Luke and other rebels. Like,
Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah.
A bunch of rebels. And I Have You Now draws multiple destinies against rebels. And if they put, Luke in a little speeder to do that or the combat vehicle to do that trick, well, now you're drawing 2 against that. Like, they do play Luke, they do have other rebels. Adding battle destinies is a thing.
Yep.
It certainly is. So, yeah, that's my card. I think it's a good one.
Yeah.
No, I think it's underplayed only because we had a shift in the meta away from dark side mains a lot.
Yeah.
And
that's probably fair.
We've kind of gone with court agents and ISB so much in the last few months, years.
And maybe they don't have as much room for it, but
right. And we had TTO as well, and there's not a lot of we're not seeing Hunt Down or Hunt Down V or Lightsaber Combat or even that really want to run this card.
Okay, so that was
right,
the
Dan, what you got for us?
Well, my card is Bail Organa. I've been seeing a lot of this guy, especially in outside of Diplo. I've been seeing him in Legend. I've been seeing him in some throne rooms. You put him on the Tantive, which the Legend and throne rooms usually plays now. You get 2 destinies.
Can play Tantive. Seems to play Tantive these days.
Yeah, you play him. I mean, he's good just because one, you get a destiny draw even with just him on the ship. You're adding to your 4 strains where he is, or any Alderanians of ability less than 4. So that's Leia Organa V. That's
there's a few Alderanians like Tycho is an Alderanian.
Tycho, Leia.
Yeah, there's a few guys.
There's not a lot, but there's a few.
Yeah.
I think there's 4, 5.
Yeah, there's a handful of them.
There's a few.
I looked at adding him into a Light Senate deck, and so
I you know what? Chris Kelly was just like, oh, Robbie loves Light Side Senate, so
yeah. Ensign Chad is a
yeah.
So I mean, I played him when I went to Endor, which was obviously the last real event, and I played him in a Diplo where I played all the Alderaanians I could, and I was just like doing drain of 2, drain of 2, drain of 2. It's so much fun just to drain of 2 instead of drain of 1.
Yeah. And don't forget, like in Diplo, he makes, or any deck where you're putting him on a Corvette like Tantive or the Hammerhead, if you want to put it on that. TTO can't target him with the super laser. And, they can't. LCB it. That matters.
Yeah. You need the space weapons. That's a path of removal. So
Mhm.
And
like that's huge.
he has a lot of really good text that is spread out to a lot of different things, and it makes sense to try to utilize a lot of it. And it's one of those things that playing Senate for the past 15 years has taught me is you remember random text on political things. You remember random text on little guys in your deck because that matters at times.
Yep.
So
Definitely.
So that was our cards of the week. Just for an update, B Fred is currently sitting at 13 in life force. Sam is sitting at 10.
Yeah, that game.
All right.
So this game is going to be close.
Yeah. No, that game is super tight. Like you put so much on the board. There's so much board positioning, and
like you said, maybe B Fred has a good game plan.
Yeah.
No, I mean we came up with one for the NPC. I just am not B Fred when it comes to playing. The game.
Nobody's B Fred.
Few of us are. Yeah.
Nobody is B Fred.
And
that's what makes him. He's one of a kind. And
yeah. No,
except for when he's posting Gremlin pictures, nobody has anything bad to say about the guy. Okay, so that was card of the week.
So we used to do the spelling challenge right around this time, but we
still have the deck challenge last week deck building challenge was play 5 Jedi Council members and win. Nobody did it. Nobody even tried.
That sounds tough.
So we're gonna go a little easier this week. This week's is blow up Alderaan and a Rebel base when you're playing Set Your Course for Alderaan and win. You just gotta blow up one Rebel base.
And all.
And you have to blow
You kind of have to flip or whatever, right?
So
Rebel bases are Hoth and
just pick one of the two, blow it up. I highly doubt somebody's going to be playing Masasi base operations, so you don't have to worry about your Death Star getting blown up. But you got a week, blow up some planets. It's fun.
All right, and this is open, regular.
Open, OCS, that's it. So no Jawa, no just, I want to play against some...
Death Star too.
Yeah, none of those leagues. It has to be in a league. It has to be in either the OCS or the open... one of Batmaster's open leagues.
Okay.
Blow up some planets, submit a link.
That sounds cool.
And get yourself a cool little foil.
I hope we get to see some submissions this week.
Yes,
that one sounds doable. That one sounds.
I'll post this on the forums too, so more people do it.
Okay.
But come on, people.
All right.
I'm swimming in these foils.
I mean, to be fair, playing 5 Jedi Council members sounds awful.
Yeah, especially because like Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Well, I guess there is
Qui-Gon
one.
Doesn't even count. He's not
Qui-Gon's not one. So
I was thinking there is one version of Obi that's pretty good, who's a Jedi Council.
It's the General Obi-Wan. He's
General
one. You have both versions of Mace. You have both versions of the Episode 1 Yodas. Keanu Mundi, who Depa.
Mace,
there's
Depa,
7.
Kit Fisto, Plo Koon,
Keanu Mundi, Yoda, and Kenobi. That's it.
Wait, isn't there Kit Fisto, or did you say?
Yeah, there is.
I said him, yeah. Okay, so that is maybe
like
4 would be better.
Of them are playable. I mean,
5 of them are playable, at least.
Well, I mean,
you can play
2 bases on the table at the same time.
Mace, Yoda, and Kenobi anywhere.
Yeah.
I think only Depa is the one that only deploys to.
No, she doesn't deploy. She can deploy anywhere.
Oh, Depa V can. I forgot there was a V for her.
Oh, there is a V.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
damn, Bader,
4,
come on.
4 might have been better, but whatever. That's okay. We'll go out with the planet one.
Blow some planets. Come on.
All right.
Jeremy is not around. Otherwise, he would have, because Jeremy always used to play that stupid "We'll Handle This Beat."
You know what? I want to see that deck come back.
White Trash Deck is like the title
Bring it back.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah,
it
was.
back.
I played a lot of it too, because it was basically like Scum with Jedi.
Yeah.
But it was worse than how that sounds. It could be.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is normally where the spelling challenge would go, right,
Yep.
Dan? Am I in the right spot? All right, but we've exhausted a lot of the good spelling cards, so we've decided to sort of reconfigure it to a game that I like to call Lore Wars. Some of you might know about this. Basically, it's very, very simple. We're going to read the lore of the card, and Robbie, if you're watching the stream, turn it off because he's going to put it up there, right, Dan?
Yep.
Well,
there goes my chance of winning.
I remembered something. My first week back in like 6 weeks, but I did remember something. Anyway, so yeah, basically we're going to read the lore of the card. We're going to give him 2 chances, I think, to guess it. 2 strikes, you're out in this ball game.
Yeah.
And if he does, he wins a prize or whatever. And if he doesn't, then we get to laugh at him or whatever. So
well, we get to laugh at him regardless.
Are you ready, Robbie?
Okay, hold on. I'm going to pull up the card.
Are you ready, Dan?
Let me pull up Scomplink Assets real quick.
Don't cheat. It's not fun if you cheat.
Okay, so.
Is it on the screen?
It is on.
All right, so this is the card that I picked for the first one. This is the lore of the card. It's only 1 sentence long. How hard could it be?
It's hard.
The lore of the card is: the Empire relied on the skill of its pilot corps to defend the Death Star reactor core from attack. That's it. That's the lore.
I can't even tell you if it's
Do you want me to see? Do you want me to read it again?
I can't even tell you if it's light or dark at this point. So.
Exactly. It's very vague. Oh, come on. It's super vague. It is a dark side card.
You know what? I say when we do this, we're going to say the lore, and then we say if it's a dark or light side card.
All right.
Like gives them a 50-50 chance.
We can't go Colorado rules because you guys memorized all this shit.
So yeah,
what else do they have to do out there?
Hey.
Yeah, they didn't have weed at the time. It was
true. We had it. It just wasn't legal. Yeah. So you got a guess?
Read it again.
All right. So it's dark side card. The Empire relied on the skill of its pilot corps to defend the Death Star reactor core from attack.
I'm going to say this. You know what? No, I'm not going to say anything because I think Robbie's actually thinking.
I was. So, this isn't a guess, but the first thing I thought of was combat response, but I'm pretty sure that was more than 1 sentence. Or it has a decently long one. And it doesn't really talk about the Death Star so much. How about we shall double our efforts?
Ooh,
that is incorrect.
Close one. That's close.
That is incorrect.
I will say this, though. That was close. That was really close.
Well, that was my best shot. So
okay, you got one more chance. What?
Operational is planned?
Not that one either. You are in the ballpark, like Dan is alluding to. The card is Desperate Counter.
Oh yeah, never played that.
So that's the one where I think it affects
if they're trying to invade your Death Star, it makes all their maneuver like -3 or whatever for each tie you have there or whatever. So it helps you protect the Death Star from invasion, as it sort of alludes to in the
it's
lore.
the Destiny 5 deploying your Death Star 2 system. When opponent moves from related sector, for each tie armed with a weapon, their movement is -3, limit to -9. Also, you may deploy either combat response or Imperial Arrest Order from reserve deck, reshuffle. So, you know what? I mean, it's kind of interesting because with TTO, you put this out, like that's the effect you grab with your operational as planned. Then you can go get your combat response, and you can go get Imperial Arrest Order. You can set it up all that way. You know, you put Moff Jerij on there. They can't deploy there with their spies. You start building your Death Star, and then boom, you got a completed Death Star to blow up stuff.
Yeah, the problem is it deploys on the Death Star system, so you only start it when you're starting the signal or like some other weird way of not having
operational plan, because you get to take it.
Oh, right, because you're playing that. So yeah, I guess you only have the one effect anyway. So yeah, you're fine. Yeah. TTO doesn't do 3 effects. Yeah.
No. So Bill actually just posted on the chat, and I wholeheartedly agree with this. On a Thursday, next time we have a live event, we do like little Star Wars types of mini games. I remember, I want to say it was at Nationals or at Continentals where we did a drinking game, and you had to name the front. Somebody you had to name like the backside to objectives. How many people know the backside of like all of the objectives?
I can't even do any cards, so I know nothing about cards.
Yeah.
I have to read everything, so people think I know stuff. I can't even play half the stuff in Senate. I just
Well, I mean, you know how to you know how to run a tournament.
Yes, I can do that. So,
You've done that once or twice.
Yeah, actually, that gave me a decent idea for something I want to do during the stream now for this event. Is I'll probably try to come up with some bingo cards, and when you see something on stream, you can mark it off, and when you get a bingo, then you'll get a prize or something.
Okay, I like that idea. So, you know what? It is almost 7:30. We went a little longer than we were expecting. I mean, that seems to happen all the time, but as it is,
we like to rate here on Holotheatre.
We are going to announce some upcoming changes to Holotheatre. As we have now a variety of guests who want to do hosting, we're going to see a difference in our guest hosts. So basically, you're going to see me every week, but I'm going to have a different person alongside of me, whether it's like a Justin Desai. I want to say Joe Olson said he wants to do it. Chris Kelly has said he wants to come on and guest host. So over the next few weeks, we're going to have a broader.
Yeah, and essentially, even Dan said he's going to be running the next 3 or 4, but we're going to give him a break too. And essentially, when Robbie and I first started this one, and then when we picked it back up with Dan, I always sort of had this idea of let's not have it just be me and Dan's show or me and Rob's show, whatever. Let's have it be the Players Committee show. And if it can be more represented, obviously Dan and I, we feel like we've done a pretty good job. You guys are all watching. I hope you've been enjoying it and everything. But I want it to be everybody's show. And if you want to participate, you want to be involved. Basically, we want to have you on. And like Dan said, getting Justin, getting Joe Olson, getting Spidey guy, getting all sorts of people to be guest hosts and come in. I want it to be more rotational, more different, and that way you're not just hearing us the same stuff every week. And like I said, Dan said he's going to run the next 3 or 4 of them, but after that we'll give him a break for a week or 2, and I'll run them with another guest host, and we'll just switch it up, and we'll make it different, make it fun, and it's always I want to keep it going, but I wasn't really in my headspace. I didn't want to do it myself 20, 30 times or whatever every single week. It's a lot of. It may not seem like it, but there's a lot going on that we have to sort of prepare for. And, with all the other stuff that we all have going on, I wanted to it was getting to the point where I was either going to stop doing it altogether or I needed to break it up a little bit. So I still wanted to keep going, but I didn't want to keep, drive myself crazy. So this way everybody gets to see different perspectives, hear different people. And, I talked way longer than I thought I would there. So.
Okay, so again, I want to thank Robbie for coming on as our guest star this week. I want to welcome back Jerry to the show.
Thanks for having me
back. Next week, Justin Desai is going to be back on with our special guest, Matt Sperling. Stay tuned on Thursdays again for Dan Plays. This week it's going to be myself versus Anthony Batmouse Howard.
Oh, that'll be fun.
It's actually going to be fun because it is it is in the California League that I'm in, actually, that I said a little bit about earlier. It's the 6th round. If I win, I end up winning the first league event.
There you go.
If I don't, well, crap.
We can't let Batmouse
would Batmouse win, or would be someone else?
No, Batmouse would not be winning. It actually be there's two people. There are 2 people who are 5-1.
Okay.
And because I had a first round bye, I kind of am a little bit behind those guys on the strength of schedule. So I do know the matchup. It's going to be OA versus CCT. I will be playing the CCT.
All right.
Again, I do too. I'm actually doing really well with CCT this month. The only time I've lost with the game literally is against Worfs, who made the deck, and he is playing No Idea. So.
All right.
Again, Mondays, tune in for Chris Goglin's Holotheatre review. And again, we'll see everybody next week. Same time, same channel. Good night,
And
everybody.
sign up for Texas if you haven't.
Yes.
Yes, please. And thanks for having me on here, guys.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Take care,
Thanks.
everybody.